I never thought a hospital visit would expose the ugliest side of my family. My stepsister, Aria, 33, used lies and emotional manipulation while our father lay in a hospital bed, rewriting his will right under everyone's nose. What followed was a shocking showdown with tears, betrayal, and stolen inheritance. This story is full of manipulation, secrets, and family drama you won't believe. I swear, I still can't believe how it all went down. It feels like a twisted soap opera, except it was my real life. For context, my dad married Aria's mom when I was about 10. Aria is 3 years older than me, so she was 13 at the time. We were never close. She always carried this weird superiority complex, like she was the real child and I was just the tag-along. Over the years, things stayed civil but distant. Fast forward to last month, our dad technically my stepdad, but he raised me, so his dad had a massive heart attack. He was rushed to the hospital and everything happened so fast. IQ, machines beeping, nurses running in and out. My mom was a mess, I was trying to keep it together and then Aria showed up. The moment she walked into the hospital room, it was like the air changed. She went straight into concerned daughter mode, grabbing dad's hand, crying loudly, whispering things like, "Don't worry daddy, I'll take care of everything." It honestly made my stomach turn because I know Aria when she turns on the waterworks, it's always for an audience. At first, I tried to ignore it. My mom and I spent hours in the waiting room, surviving on vending machine coffee in those awful plastic chairs. But I started noticing things. Aria would always insist on being in a room alone with dad. She'd close the door and stay in there for 30-40 minutes at a time. Whenever I tried to come in, she'd say, "Oh, he's tired, let him rest." One night, I overheard her on the phone in the hallway. She was whispering to someone, "Yeah, I think I can get him to sign it. He's so weak. He'll agree to anything if I frame it as making things easier." My blood ran cold. I didn't want to believe it, but deep down I knew exactly what she meant, the will. Dad had always been clear of everything was to be split 50/50 between Aria and me. But Aria, she's never been satisfied with equal. The next day, things escalated. I walked into Dad's room unexpectedly and saw a lawyer sitting there with a stack of papers. Aria was standing right behind Dad's chair, her hand on his shoulder, whispering in his ear. "Dad, what's going on?" I asked, trying to keep my voice calm, though I could feel my chest pounding. Aria spun around like a cat caught in headlights. "Well, nothing, just some routine paperwork." The lawyer cleared his throat awkwardly and said, "We're discussing some changes to the will." I swear I felt my knees go weak. "Changes? Now. He just had a heart attack." Aria narrowed her eyes at me and said, "You don't get it, I'm protecting him. He wants to make sure everything is handled properly, and you're stressing him out." I looked at Dad, frail, pale, tubes everywhere, and my heart shattered. He looked so confused, like he didn't even fully understand what he was signing. That's when I realized Aria was going to manipulate him into signing away everything, right there in the hospital room. I couldn't just stand there and watch her pull this off. My whole body was shaking, but I planted myself between Dad and the lawyer. "Hold on," I said firmly, glaring at both of them. "This isn't right. He's on medication, he's weak, and he's literally in a hospital bed. He cannot be making life-altering decisions right now." Aria immediately shot me a look of pure venom. "You're overreacting. He's perfectly capable of deciding what's best for his family. Don't disrespect him like that." "Aria, he just had a heart attack." I snapped. "He can barely keep his eyes open, and you're waving papers in his face. This is manipulation, plain and simple." Dad weakly lifted his head, mumbling, "It's fine. I want peace." My heart broke. He looked so fragile, like a shadow of the strong man who raised me. The lawyer coughed and shuffled the papers. "If this is going to cause conflict, perhaps we should reschedule." But Aria cut him off. "No, Dad wants this. He told me himself." Then she leaned down and whispered in his ear, "Right, Dad?" He nodded faintly, and I felt my stomach drop. At that moment, my mom walked in. She took one look at the scene, the lawyer, the stack of papers, me standing rigid. Aria hovering and her face went pale. "What's going on here?" she demanded. I exhaled in relief. "She's trying to change the will while he's half-conscious." Aria spun around like she was auditioning for a drama show. "Oh my god, really? You're making it sound like I'm stealing. Dad asked me to do this. He doesn't want fights after he's gone." My mom's voice cracked. "He's not gone, Aria, and you don't get to decide this alone." The tension was so thick you could cut it with a knife. Dad just stayed blankly, looking lost, while Aria turned on the fake tears again. She grabbed his hand and sobbed, "I'm just trying to protect your wishes, Daddy." She's twisting everything. I couldn't believe the audacity. The lawyer clearly looked uncomfortable now, like he just realized he'd walked into a family battlefield. "Perhaps I should step outside," he muttered, already gathering his things. "No, say." Aria barked, her voice cracking. She turned on me again. "Why do you always have to make this about you? You've been nothing but selfish since we were kids. Dad knows who's been there for him, me, not you." I froze. Those words cut deep, but it also clicked. This wasn't just about money. Aria wanted to erase me from the picture entirely, to rewrite the story of who mattered in Dad's life. My mom stepped up beside me, her hand on my arm. "Not happening," she said firmly. "Not while I'm here." Aria's face twisted, the fake tears instantly gone. For the first time, she looked dangerous, like she wasn't going to stop until she got what she wanted. That was the moment I realized this wasn't going to end quietly. By the next morning, the hospital waiting room felt like a war zone. Word had spread that Dad had been unstable, and suddenly my uncle Mark, Dad's older brother, showed up, looking furious. He's usually calm and collected, but today he stormed in, muttering under his breath. "What the hell is going on here?" he demanded as he stepped into Dad's room. I quickly filled him in. Aria's trying to get Dad to change the will while he's on meds and barely conscious. She's manipulating him. Aria immediately straightened up, putting on her best wounded expression. "Mark, don't listen to her. She's making everything worse. Dad asked me to handle things." Mark's eyes narrowed. "I ask you, he's not capable of making legal decisions like this right now. You can't." "He's fine." Aria interrupted, her voice rising, almost shrill. "You weren't even here when he needed support. I've been the one by his side every day." I couldn't hold back anymore. By crying and whispering lies in his ear, "That's not support. Aria, you're taking advantage of him." At that point, Dad stirred, groaning weakly. He looked between us, clearly overwhelmed. His lips quivered as he tried to speak. I just want peace. My heart broke hearing that. He wanted peace, but Aria wanted power. It was a painful, ugly clash of motives. Then my cousin Lily, Dad's niece, appeared at the door. She had overheard the argument while visiting another patient. Aria, she said coldly, don't even think about it. Dad is not in a state to change his will. You can't manipulate him like this. Aria froze, glaring daggers. You don't understand family loyalty. You're all just jealous. Lily stepped closer. No, Aria, this isn't about loyalty. This is about stealing. You've been planning this for weeks, haven't you? I saw the text you sent about making him agree. For a moment, Aria's face betrayed panic. Then she slammed her hands on Dad's bedside table. You all are ganging up on me, and the one who's been here, doing the hard work. He'll do what I say because he trusts me. Mark and Lily exchanged glances. No, Mark said firmly. You'll do nothing without full transparency, that's it. No signing today, no changing anything, period. Aria's shoulders slumped, but only slightly. There was still that dangerous glint in her eyes, like a predator trap, but plotting escape. You think you've won, huh? She muttered under her breath. Dad sighed, exhausted, and I knelt beside him. It's okay, Dad. We've got this. No one's taking advantage of you. He nodded faintly, relief flickering in his tired eyes. At least for now, the immediate danger was over. But the storm wasn't done. Aria wouldn't just back down quietly. That was when I realized the battle over the inheritance wasn't just legal. It was emotional, psychological, and dangerous. And I was right in the middle of it. The next day, the hospital room felt suffocating. Aria was relentless. She had somehow convinced a nurse barely paying attention to her to bring in Dad's paperwork again. My stomach sank when I saw her carrying the documents like a trophy. You're not touching those, I shouted before she even got close to Dad. Aria smirked, calm as if I had no right to speak. Relax, I'm just helping him get organized. You're the one panicking. I glared at her. Helping? You tried to get him to write his will yesterday while he was on medication. You lied to him. She leaned in close, voice low, venomous. You always think you're right. You've never understood anything about family. Dad trusts me, and that's why he'll listen to me. You're just a scared little sibling who wants attention. Before I could respond, Dad stared weakly and groaned. Aria, please, I just want quiet. I knelt beside him. See, this is exactly why you can't be alone with him. He's exhausted. He needs rest, not manipulation. Aria rolled her eyes dramatically, then crouched beside Dad, whispering in his ear, Don't listen to her. She's lying. I'm only protecting you. Daddy, if you sign these, everything will be okay. My chest tightened. I could feel the manipulation twisting in the room like a physical force. I stood abruptly, hands trembling. Dad, don't let her do this. This isn't protection. This is stealing from you. Aria snapped her head toward me, fury blazing. Don't you dare use that word. You don't know what's best. Just then, the hospital room door opened with a bang. My mom had come back, flanked by a hospital administrator and a security guard. That's enough, she shouted. No one is taking advantage of my husband under my watch. Aria froze, caught off guard. This is harassment. The administrator stepped forward firmly. Ma'am, you are not authorized to pressure the patient in this manner. If you continue, we will have to ask you to leave. Her face twisted in fury, but for the first time, the weight of reality hit her. Her usual confidence faltered, and she glanced at Dad. He looked tired, almost like he wished the storm would just end. My mom took Dad's hand gently. It's okay, honey, we've got this. No one's taking anything from you. Aria stood there, fuming but trapped. She whispered under her breath, You think this ends here? This isn't over? I realized in that moment how deep her manipulation ran. This wasn't just about money, this was about control, about rewriting the family story to put herself on top. But at least for now, she was contained. As she stormed out, I sank into the chair beside Dad, relieved he was safe, but terrified of what she might try next. The hospital had become a battlefield, and it was only the beginning of the war over the inheritance. After Aria stormed out, the tension in the room finally started to ease. Dad lay back, exhausted, and I could see the relief in his eyes. Thank you, he whispered, his voice barely audible. I don't know what I would have done. I squeezed his hand. We've got your back, Dad. No one's taking advantage of you. My mom sat beside me, running a hand over my shoulder. That girl is relentless, but at least now the hospital staff and security are aware. They won't let her pull anything shady again. Despite the relief, I couldn't shake the feeling that Aria wasn't done. That evening, as we waited in the hospital room for Dad's vitals to stabilize, I got a notification on my phone. It was a text from one of Aria's friends, meant for her, but accidentally sent to me. He's signing tonight. I told her to get him alone in the room when the nurse shifts. No one will see. It's all set. My stomach dropped. She was trying a final ploy, going back for a stealth move. I showed the text to Mom. She paled. We need to act fast. Call Mark. Call Lily, anyone who can get here. We can't let her manipulate him again. Within an hour, our Uncle Mark, Cousin Lily, and even Dad's old friend and financial advisor were at the hospital. We staged a silent guard around Dad's room, making sure no one entered without approval. Aria texted incessantly, asking to see Dad, claiming urgent personal matters. We ignored every message. Around 11 p.m., she showed up in the hospital lobby, looking like a storm ready to break. I met her eyes across the room. There was no remorse, only determination. You think locking me out will stop me? She hissed under her breath. I don't think it, I said calmly. I know it. You're not touching him tonight. Not ever. Without full legal oversight. Aria's eyes flickered with something dangerous, anger, desperation. Maybe a mix of both. But for the first time, she realized she couldn't control everything. The adults in the room weren't intimidated, and Dad's was protected. She muttered something under her breath and stormed out, slamming the hospital doors. My mom exhaled, exhausted. That was intense. I sank into a chair beside Dad again. He weakly chuckled, a tiny smile on his lips. You kids, you're crazy, but I'm glad you're on my side. Lily smirked. Better believe it, that inheritance is staying exactly how you want it. For the first time in days, I felt like the storm was subsiding. Aria hadn't won, and Dad was safe. But I knew this wouldn't be the last battle. She was manipulative, clever, and determined. We had only bought ourselves time. That night, as Dad finally drifted to sleep, I sat quietly thinking about the line between family love and control. Aria had crossed it. And while she had failed tonight, I realized one truth. Some people never stop trying, no matter how obvious the consequences. The next morning, Dad's condition had stabilized enough that he was sitting up, sipping water. The sun streamed through the hospital blinds, casting a warm glow that felt almost surreal after the chaos of the past few days. But I knew better than to relax completely. Aria hadn't given up yet. Around 10 a.m., she appeared in the corridor again. This time, she wasn't loud or dramatic, she was calm, almost unnervingly so. I could see the gears turning in her head, plotting some new way to manipulate Dad. Aria, I called, stepping firmly into her path. Stop. Don't even try. You're not going in there without us. She smirked, tilting her head. You really think you can control me? He's my father too. I have just as much right. You have rights, sure, I said, keeping my voice steady. But you don't have the right to manipulate him while he's vulnerable. You crossed the line. My mom came up behind me. Enough, Aria. This ends now. If you try anything, we'll get legal intervention. Dad's health comes first. Aria's eyes flicked toward Dad's room. She hesitated, and for the first time, I saw a doubt flicker across her face. She could see the army of family and hospital staff surrounding the room. Her usual confidence, the manipulation she relied on, couldn't work here. Finally, she let out a bitter laugh. You think you've won, but this isn't the end. People always underestimate me. Then she turned sharply and stormed down the corridor, leaving the sliding doors bang behind her. I exhaled, finally letting some tension leave my body. Dad looked at me, eyes tired but grateful. I feel like I can finally breathe, he whispered. Mark and Lily stayed by our side, smiling with relief. She won't pull this off again, Mark said firmly. We made sure of it. The day continued quietly. Dad rested, and we stayed close, making small talk and joking quietly to keep the mood light. But every time I thought about Aria, I felt a mix of anger and sadness. Anger at what she tried to do, and sadness that family could be this manipulative. Later, as we were leaving the hospital, Dad squeezed my hand. He did right by me. I've never been more proud of you. My chest swelled with emotion. For the first time in years, I felt truly seen by him. That night, Aria didn't call or text. For once, the storm had passed. But I knew better than to assume it was over forever. She was cunning and manipulative, but for now, we had won. The inheritance was safe, and most importantly, Dad was safe. It had been exhausting, terrifying, and emotionally draining, but I realized something vital. Sometimes protecting your family isn't just about love. It's about standing up when someone tries to take advantage of the people you care about most. And for now, that's exactly what I had done. The following week, Dad was discharged from the hospital, and we all went home cautiously, still on high alert. Aria didn't show up, didn't call, and didn't even try to contact Dad. For once, it felt like the house had reclaimed a sense of peace. Dad was weaker than before, but he smiled more, as if a weight had lifted. He confided in me one evening, his voice shaky but sincere. I realized something in the hospital. I have to trust my instincts about who truly cares for me. I nodded. We'll always protect you, Dad. You don't have to worry about anyone taking advantage of you. Mom put a hand on his shoulder. You're safe now. We've got your back, always. A few days later, we scheduled a proper meeting with the family lawyer to make sure everything about the will was ironclad. This time, Dad signed with witnesses and legal oversight. No chance for Aria or anyone else to manipulate him again. There was a sense of closure in the air, but also a lingering tension whenever we spoke about Aria. Mark and Lily stayed close during this period, acting as a buffer and reminding us that vigilance is sometimes necessary. She'll test boundaries, Mark warned, but she won't win again, not if you stick together. We didn't hear from Aria for weeks. I had this mix of relief and unease, like a storm cloud hovering on the horizon. But seeing Dad relax, smiling, and genuinely content for the first time in months made it all worth it. One afternoon, as I helped Dad water the plants in the backyard, he looked at me with gratitude in his eyes. He stepped up when it mattered most. He said quietly, I know she tried to manipulate me, but you protected me. That means more than you'll ever know. I felt a lump in my throat. I just did what I had to do, Dad. Your family. You deserve to be safe and happy. Mom joined us, smiling softly. We're stronger than we realize. Family isn't always about blood, it's about who stands by you when it counts. Though Aria's shadow still lingered in the back of my mind, I finally understood something important. Manipulation, greed, and betrayal can exist even in families, but so can courage, loyalty, and love. And while Aria tried to steal what wasn't hers, we had protected not just Dad's inheritance, but the integrity of our family. That night, as I tucked Dad into bed, he whispered, I'm proud of all of you. You've shown me what family really means. I smiled, fighting back tears. The ordeal had been brutal, emotionally draining, and terrifying, but in the end, we had survived. We had stood up to Aria's manipulation, safeguarded what mattered, and learned the true value of loyalty. For now, the storm had passed, and I knew one thing for certain. No matter how cunning or manipulative someone is, love and vigilance can prevail. And that lesson, harsh as it was, had brought our family closer than I ever thought possible.